Hey everyone, and welcome back. Before you watch this walkthrough, make sure that you pause the video and try the problem yourself. Even a partial attempt will make the explanation that much more useful. These videos are meant to support your problem-solving process, not replace it. Across a lot of my practice problems, I highlight different aspects of how to approach, break down, and reason through problems. So you're going to get the best benefit by watching multiple walkthroughs rather than treating any single one of my videos as a template that you can copy. With that, let's get started. Today's practice problem will be the reversing a string using a recursive method. Write a recursive method that returns a reversed version of a string. You may not use any loops or string builder. When working with recursion on strings, the same thinking applies as it does with numbers or arrays. We want to repeatedly shrink our problem space until we hit something trivial, something base case. So what is the simplest possible string we can have? Hopefully your answer is a string of length 0 or maybe a string of length 1. In both of those cases, the string is already reversed, and seeing that becomes our base case. Now for the recursive case, I want to remove one character and let recursion handle the rest. If I take the first character off the string and I reverse what remains, then add the first character to the end, I can build the string in reverse. Let's get this into some comments. We should have first our comment about our base case. If a string has a length 0 or 1, it's already reversed, meaning just return the string. My comment got a little bit long there. I'll pull it down. Now we've got our recursive case. Else. This means our string is longer. We are going to reverse the substring starting with index 1 and appending the first character to the back. All right. Let's convert this code, or rather these comments, into code. Hopefully we understand that we're going to have some kind of string up here. And as we did previously, we will make a method, reverse string, that can take in our string. Awesome. Once we've done that, we can print our original as our string, and we can print our reverse as the reversed string. Let's get this method created. Public static string, reverse string, and we'll take in that value. Now our base case here says if a string has a length 0 or 1, just return the string. That one's simple enough. If our string's length is less than or equal to 1, that's 0 or 1, can't be a negative number because it's the length, we can just return our string. That's what the comment says. Then we've got our recursive case, our else scenario. In this scenario, we're going to reverse our substring by starting with index 1 and appending the first character to the back. So we can make some variables here if we want. We can make a variable our smaller string, where we take our original string and we substring it, starting from 1 going to the end of the string. And then we can go ahead and pass that into our method call of our reverse string, smaller string. And like we said, we're going to append the first character of our string onto the end. There we go. This is actually our full method. Let's trace through this to see what happens before we start running the code. Imagine we're doing it with our word hello. So the very first call to reverse string will happen as follows. Reverse string gets called, we'll say from main. Reverse string gets called on hello. Now hello we can see is more length than 0 or 1. So what ends up happening is we create that smaller string and reverse string gets called again, only this time it's going to get called on LO plus an H right there. Then our reverse string got called again. So this whole process happens again. Reverse string LLO plus E. And this continues to happen until we hit our base case. So let me just get those in here. Reverse string LO plus L reverse string O plus L. And now we've hit our base case. What happens here is we take our reverse string and we're just going to straight up return it, as line 13 tells us. So we just return the string O. And so when we move back up our call stack, this call gets turned into just an O. That's a 0, sorry, O. So now we can see that this return line right here on line 16 is returning the string OL. It returns OL right here. What happens there is that call gets replaced with OL, and this becomes OLL. And that is what it ends up being returned to this call right here. This is the exact same process we saw in the previous video when we were summing up numbers. And this process continues all the way up until we hit no more returns. In our case, until we hit our main call, which will then get replaced with our reversed string right there, which is this line, line 4, right up here. So our reversed hello gets put right in there, and now we can print it out. It's pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and run this just to make sure we have a good feeling for it. Oops. Let's go to where my code is. We can compile it and run. And we can see exactly what's happening there. If we're interested in getting a better understanding of the stack as it's happening, we can add a few prints in here. We can add a print right here, system.print. Let's actually add a couple things. Let's add a reverse string variable here, call count. Let's add that integer. So now we can say calling reverse string. Struggling with spelling a little, but that's okay. And we'll put our call count there. And we can also say, as part of this call count, we'll add one more line here. I'll just do it like this. We'll put it right here. There we go. Calling reverse string. And let's just pass in that smaller string right here so we can see what it looks like. Plus, right here, string.char at 0. So that's going to go right here. And when we call this, we're going to increase that call count by 1, just so that we can see each time that the call count occurs, what we're hitting. And in fact, I'm actually going to pick this print up and put it up here so that it will also happen on our base case scenario. There we go. Oops. Let's go ahead and run that. We can now see that on the very first call to reverse string, we're ending up calling it again and leaving that H behind, just as we said. Here we do it again, calling our reverse string, leaving an E behind, calling reverse string, leaving an L behind, calling a reverse string, leaving an O behind, calling reverse string for the 5th time, and we end up right here in that return in our base case. So this statement never ran, and then it worked its way back up. If we want to see the working its way back up as well, we can do something really neat here. We can actually add a reverse string variable. There we go. And our reverse string variable will live right there, and we'll just return it. But by separating it, we're allowing ourselves the opportunity to right here put in after the reverse string call number call count. So let's see what we're going to end up with. So after the reverse string call, we end up with reverse. All right, just adding a couple of print statements is going to give us, I hope, a lot of clarity on what exactly is happening on the runtime stack here. So here are those initial calls, and we see each one happens, and then reverse string, that call happens, and we just dip right back up to line 9, and that just keeps happening every single time. We never get past line 19 because it just keeps, the flow of execution just keeps jumping us into a new method. The method name is, of course, the same as the calling method, But that's okay. And that's going to just keep happening all the way until we hit that base case. Once we've hit the base case on this scenario right here, it's going to drop it back up on this call. So on the most recent call, this was our first call, this was our last call. So thanks to it being a stack, like a stack of pancakes, we're going to get dropped back off right here at the last call, which now means that we can see right here, this is counting back down. We go back to this call, call number 4, and we see that we get that string building. Then we go to call 3. Then we go to call 2. Then we go to call 1. Just for completeness, let's also do Taco Cat since that was in our example. I'll just clear all this out of the way. And we can see it happening here as well. We see us building out the call stack, each of those calls happening until on the 8th call, we did hit our base case. To make that even clearer, I can even add a print here. Base case happened, which means that we're just going to return our string, I guess. There we go. Just to really round this all the way out. There we go. We can see right there on that 8th call, our base case did happen on the value t, and then we started building ourselves back out. The fun thing about Taco Cat is it is a palindrome if you ignore the spaces anyway. So that one's kind of fun to see as we build down and build back up. I kind of like that. That's it. And now we've solved this problem. Now remember, you won't find my solution posted alongside this video. If you watch the walkthrough without first attempting the problem, stop here, close my solution, and try to write it yourself now. Post-walkthrough practice still counts. If you have questions about this problem or suggestions for future practice videos, please be sure to leave them in the comment section below. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye.